Hello, everybody. In today's lesson, we're going to finish up Module 7. We're going to be working on Lesson 7.4, Converting Between Measurement Systems. So let's look at the Explore activity. How do you convert inches to centimeters? Well, you've used a ratio reasoning to convert measurement units within the customary system and within the metric system. Now you'll use ratios such as 1 inch to 2 and 54 centimeters to convert between systems. Okay, so the length of a sheet of paper is 11 inches. What is that length in centimeters? Well, we can use a bar model or bar diagram to solve this problem, where each part represents 1 inch. Okay, so we have 11 inches. Each box is 1 inch. And every inch is how many centimeters? Well, every inch is 2.54 centimeters, or 2 and 54 centimeters. So every single one of these boxes is 1 inch, which is equivalent to 2.54 centimeters. So couldn't we just multiply 11 times 2.54? Of course. Okay, so every inch, how does the diagram help you solve it? Because every inch equals 2 and 54 centimeters. And since there are 11 boxes, or there are 11 boxes, of 2.54 centimeters. So how much is 11 inches? Okay, so we know 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters, and we need to go to 11 inches. And how much is 11 inches in centimeters? Well, how do you go from 1 to 11? We're multiplying by 11. And we know that whatever I do to the numerator, I have to also do to the denominator. So 2.54 times 11. Okay, so what is 2.54 times 11? Yeah, so multiply that out. Remember, we're going to ignore the decimal until the very end of the multiplication problem. Okay, so we finished multiplying. We have 2 decimal places. So we need to move 2 decimal places from the right. Okay, so we get 27.94 centimeters. Okay, I kind of got ahead of myself here. Sorry. So this work that I did here is in number 1, the reflecting the other way. What they wanted you to just do here is go 2.54 times 11 without even worrying about a proportion. Okay, so we know that that's going to be 27.94. So what did we do? We went 1 times 11, 2 and 54 hundredths times 11, and they gave us 27.94 centimeters. How is it similar? Basically multiplying 11 by 2.54 centimeters. In this case, we have 11 inches, so we're just going to say 11 times 2.54. Okay, we don't want to add 2.54, 2.54, 2.54. We don't want to keep adding that. Okay, we know that if we have repeated addition, it's the same as multiplication. Okay, so let's look at page 194. All right, so on 194, you're introduced to the conversion factors. All right, and so this table, it's a very valuable table for you. Okay, I'm not saying you have to memorize this table because it is something that you can look up. Why memorize it? But we do need to know how to use the conversion factors. So this table shows the equivalencies between the customary and metric systems. And you can use these equivalencies to find conversion factors for converting a measurement in one system to a measurement in the other system. So we look here in length. We have 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. We just talked about that. 1 foot is 305 thousandths of a meter. 1 yard is about 914 thousandths of a meter. And 1 mile is about 1 61 hundredth kilometers. So if we go down here, if you tell me I have 1 centimeter, well, that's 39 hundredths of an inch. If you have 1 meter, that's about 3 28 hundredths feet. If you have 1 meter, it's about 1 900 yards. And 1 kilometer is about 621 thousandths of a mile. So it can go both ways, right? So depending on what you're converting, if they give you a certain amount of centimeters, then we would use this one, okay? Because every centimeter is 39 hundredths of an inch. If they give you a certain number of inches, we would use this one because we're going from inches to centimeters. Now, could I use this one if I was given inches and go to centimeters? Yeah, it's just that you're going to wind up having to divide, and it's just more difficult to get making sure that your math operations are correct. So it's far easier to just multiply when working with the decimals. All right, weight mass, 1 ounce is about 28 3/10 grams, and so on. Okay. All right, so most conversions are approximate, as indicated by the symbol. Okay, it looks like an equal sign, right? But it's kind of wavy. So that when you see that symbol, that means it's about it. It's really close to that. All right, while working out, Alima adds 11 3/500 kilograms to the machine. About how many pounds does she add? All right, well, so they're telling us to go from kilograms to pounds. So we would use this conversion. They gave us the kilograms, we want pounds. Okay, so find the conversion factor for converting kilograms to pounds. We found that 1 kilogram is approximately 2 20 hundredths pounds. We can write the conversion factor as a ratio, 2 20 hundredths pounds over 1 kilogram. And then we can convert the given measurement. 11 3/5 hundredths kilograms times the conversion factor will give us a certain number of pounds. Okay, remember that the kilograms will divide out, leaving us with pounds. So basically 11 3/5 hundredths times 2.20, and that would give us 24 97 hundredths pounds. So she adds about 25 pounds. Because it did say about how many pounds. All right, so let's do this one. 6 quarts is about how many liters? Or is approximately how many liters? Okay, so they give us quarts, and we have to go to liters. So let's come over here, and we see 1 quart is about 946 thousandths. So we're going to write that conversion factor. We're going from liters I'm trying to find a reasonable space to do this in. Okay, so that's our conversion factor. 1 quart is about 946 thousandths of a liter. They gave us 6 quarts. So we're going to go 6 quarts times this conversion factor. The quarts will divide out, and I'm left with 6 times 946 thousandths. So 946 thousandths times 6. Okay, we have 3 decimal places. So 1, 2, 3. So we have about 5.676 liters. Okay. So again, you'll notice that the unit that we're converting to, we're going to use that in the numerator because we want the units that we have to divide out. All right, so number 3, 14 feet is approximately how many meters? So we have feet and we have to go to meters. So here's the feet, and they're approximately 305 thousandths of a meter. So start with 14 feet times, what's the conversion factor? So if we have 14 feet, what is the conversion factor? It's 1 foot is 305 thousandths of a meter. Okay, so the feet units divide out, and we're left with 14 times 305 thousandths. So multiply that. We have 3 decimal places. So 1, 2, 3. So we get 4.270 meters. If you could actually see it, right? All right. 4 and 270 thousandths meters. Okay, here we're going from grams to ounces. So start with the unit we know. We want the grams to cancel out. So remember, this is kind of like saying 255.6 grams over 1. So we want the grams to cancel out. So we want to know how many ounces and grams are related. Okay, because we want the grams to cancel out. So go to the chart and find 1 gram, and we're changing it into ounces, so that's 0.035 ounces. So you're going to write that conversion factor. Again, we're changing 2 ounces, so we want the ounces in the numerator, and we want the grams in the denominator. So 1 gram is 35 thousandths of an ounce. All right, so divide out the grams, and we're left with 256 times 255.6 times 35 thousandths. Go ahead and multiply that out. Ignore the decimal points until the end. Okay, I'm not going to multiply by 0 because that's not going to change anything. It's that last row is just going to be 0. All right. So I have 1, 2, 3 decimal places plus 1 decimal place in this number. So total of 4 decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 255 and 6/10 grams is about 8.946 0 ounces. We really don't even need the 0. Okay, that's really not going to change anything. All right, so we're converting from liters to quarts. So I want quarts in the numerator. Okay, so they gave me 7 liters. I want the liters to cancel out, so find 1 liter. 1 liter is how many quarts? 1 liter is about 1.06 quarts. So that's almost a 1-to-1 relationship. So the conversion factor, 1.06 over 1 times 7. Again, the liters divide out, and we're left with 7 times 1.06. Okay. 2 decimal places in the problem. So we have 7 and 42 hundredths quarts. Okay, let's go on to page 195. I would keep the table handy or be able to go back and forth. Okay. So converting measurements to solve problems. All right, when we solve problems that involve multiplying or dividing measurements, we need to be careful to convert the units correctly. Well, that's kind of obvious, right? Bob's driveway is 45 feet long by 18 feet wide. He plans to pave the entire driveway. The asphalt paving costs $24 per square meter. What will be the total cost of the paving? Okay, well, they tell us that it's $24 per square meter. Well, that's a problem because we got our measurements in feet. So if I find the area of this, I'm going to have square feet. I won't be able to find out how much $24 per square meter is unless I convert the feet to square meters or I convert the $24 per square meter into square feet. So let's look at here. Step 1, find the dimensions of the driveway in meters. Okay, so we want to change these dimensions to meters. Well, how do we do that? Well, every foot is approximately 305 thousandths of a meter. So let's start with 45. So 45 feet times the conversion factor. Remember, we want the feet to cancel out or divide out. So we're left with 45 times 305 thousandths. If you multiply that out, you would come out with 13.725 meters. And the width, well, we have 18 feet. So if we're changing that to meters, we're going to use the same conversion factor. The feet divide out, 18 times 305, we'd wind up with 5.49 meters. And now we actually have to multiply that together. Okay, so what we're saying is instead of 18 feet, we're going to use 5.49 meters. And instead of 45 feet, we're going to use 13.725 meters. All right. And so they're telling us that when we multiply that all out, we're going to wind up with 75 and 35,025 hundred thousandths. All right. Now we can multiply that number by 24. And that's going to give us a total cost of $1,808.41. Okay, a lot of work, but we can do this. Okay, number 6, error analysis. All right, so that's telling us this person's made some type of mistake. We got to figure it out. What did she do wrong? Well, Yolanda found the area of Bob's driveway in square meters as shown. Explain why Yolanda's answer is incorrect. So she said 45 times 18 is 810 square feet. All right, well, that's probably fine, right? But then she did 810 square feet times the conversion factor 1 foot to 305 thousandths of a meter. This is square feet. This is just a linear measurement. She needed to double this, right? Because we want a square meter. So you have to convert square feet into square meters. Okay. So she should have multiplied 0.305 times 0.305, then multiplied by 810. All right, let's look at 196. All right, a flower bed is 2 meters wide and 3 meters long. What is the area of the flower bed in square feet? Round your answer to the nearest hundredth. All right, so 2 meters wide, 3 meters long. Okay, something like that, right? And we want to put it in square feet. Well, let's go ahead and change the dimensions. So we have 2 meters. So how much is 1 meter in feet? 1 meter is 3 and 2800th feet. Okay, so the meters divide out, and we're left with 2 times 3 and 28 hundredths. So multiply that. So we get 6.56 feet for the width. And multiply 3 meters times the conversion factor for meters to feet. Meters divide out, so 3.28 times 3. So 3 meters is 9.84 feet. All right, so now we can find the area in square feet. 6.56 times 9.84. Okay, we're going to ignore the decimal points until the very end. So multiply it out. Okay. Had our partial products. All right, now let's put our decimal places in. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places. All right. And it said round to the nearest hundredth. All right. Well, tenths, hundredths. So I'm rounding to that spot. Zero's less than 5, so I'm going to keep it as 64.55 square feet. All right, let's move on to the guided practice number 1. Complete each diagram to solve the problem. All right, so Kate ran 5 miles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this must be 5 miles. Every one of these is 1 mile. And how many kilometers are in a mile? Well, 1 mile is about 1 and 6100th kilometers. So 1.61. All right, so looking at the diagram, every one of these is 1.61. So let's just multiply 1.61 times the 5 boxes. Okay, 805, but there's actually 2 decimal places. So it's 8 and 500th kilometers. Right? Alex filled a 5-gallon jug with water. How many liters of water are in the container? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this top part is 5 gallons. Every box is 1 gallon. And every gallon is 3 and 7900th liters. So all we have to do is multiply that out. So 5 times 3.79. There's 2 decimal places. So 18 and 9500th liters. All right, let's move on to number 3. A ruler is 12 inches long. What is the length of this ruler in centimeters? So we're converting from 12 inches into centimeters. All right, so how many centimeters are in 1 inch? So go to 1 inch. It's 2.54 centimeters. All right, divide out the inches, and we're left with 12 times 2.54 centimeters. That doesn't make sense. I did something wrong. Let me back up here. Let's see. 2.54 times 12. Okay. 8, 10, 5. 1 times 4, 1 times 5, 1 times 2. Yeah. All right, so actually, 30 and 48 hundredth centimeters. Okay. I got to thinking 2.5. Well, 2 times 12 is 24, and half of 12 is 6. 24 and 6 has to be 30. So I knew I was significantly off. All right, number 4. A kitten weighs 4 pounds. What is the approximate mass of the kitten in kilograms? So we're going to start with 4 pounds. And so on the conversion factor chart, we want to find pounds to kilograms. Okay, pounds to kilograms. So 1 pound is approximately 454 thousandths kilograms. So 0.454. The pounds divide out, leaving us with 4 times 454 thousandths. Okay. There's 3 decimal places. So 4 pounds is about 1 and 816 thousandths kilogram. All right, number 5, convert each measurement. 20 yards is approximately how many meters? 20 yards is approximately how many meters? All right, so start with what we know. So we have 20 yards. Okay. And we want to convert the yards into meters. So we want meters over yards because we want the yards to divide out. So how many meters are in a yard? 1 yard is 0.914. Okay. So we have 914 thousandths times 20. Well, we know the answer is going to end in a 0. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 9 is 18. Regroup the 1. 2 times 0 is 0 plus the 1. 3 decimal places. So we have 18 and 280 thousandths meters. Number 6. Ounces. 12 ounces is about how many grams? So we're starting with ounces. And we want to convert those ounces into grams. So every ounce is 28.3 grams. So divide out the ounces and multiply 28.3 times 12. One decimal place. So 12 ounces is 339 and 6/10 grams. Five quarts is how many liters? So we know 5 quarts. So we want quarts in the denominator. How many quarts is equal to how many liters? 1 quart. 1 quart is 0.946 liters. Go ahead and do the multiplication because we know that the quarts will divide out, leaving us with just 5 times 0.946. Okay. 3 decimal places, 1, 2, 3. So 4.730 liters. Okay, number 8. $400 is how many yards? So we have 400 meters, and we need to convert that meters to yards. So how many yards are in 1 meter? 1 meter is how many yards? 1.09 yards. Okay. Meters will divide out, leaving us with 400 times 1.09. Right? I know the answer is going to end in 2 zeros. So 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 3 more is 3, and 4 times 1 is 4. There are 2 decimal places, so it's a nice, neat number of 436 yards. $10 is how many gallons? Okay, so we're going to set it up like this. 10 liters times gallons over liter. We want the liters to divide out. So how many gallons are in 1 liter? 1 liter is about 264 thousandths of a gallon. 0.264 gallons. Okay, divide out the liters for the units, leaving us gallons. And we just have to multiply 10 times 2.264. Well, basically, we know we're going to move the decimal point one place to the right. So we have 2.64 gallons. Okay, let me go ahead and multiply that out. Okay, just to show you. We know the answer is going to end in 1 0. So just multiply the non-zero. Okay. And we know that there are 3 decimal places. 1, 2, 3. 2.64. All right, number 10. We have 137 and 2500th meters. And we need to change that to feet. All right, so how many feet are in 1 meter? 1 meter is 3 and 2800th feet. Okay, 1 meter is 3 and 2800th feet. Divide out the meters, and so we have to multiply 137 and 25 hundredths times 3 and 28 hundredths. All right. Okay, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I came up with 451 and 80 and 8,080 ten thousandths. Let me double check my math. 0, 8, 20, 11, 8, 15, 20, 11, 15. Now I want to put a totally different answer. So when that happens, we try it. All right, so 137.25 times how many feet? How many feet are in 1 meter? 3.28. All right, so let's try it. I'm going to try this again. All right, 8 times 5 is 40. Regroup the 4. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 4 more is 20. 8 times 7 is 56, plus 2 more is 58. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 5 more is 29. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 2 more is 10. Okay, let's move to the next place value. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4, plus the regrouped 1 is 5. 2 times 7 is 14, plus the regrouped 1 is, so 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 more is 7. And 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, let's go to the final digit. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 2 is 6, plus the regrouped 1 is 7. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 3 is 9, plus the 2. The 2 that was regrouped is 11. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 more is 4. Okay, 0, 0, 18, 10, 17, 21, 7, 9, 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places, 450, and basically 18 hundredths. Okay, so I'm okay with that number. Or you can keep the zeros. They're equivalent. All right, 11. 165 centimeters is how many inches? All right, so again, we're going from 1 centimeter to how many inches? 1 centimeter is 0.39 inches. All right, so 165 times 39 hundredths. Two decimal places. 64.35 inches. And the last one. Number 12, I mean. 10,000 kilometers is how many miles? So, how many miles are in 1 kilometer? 1 kilometer is 0.621 miles. All right, so we know that the kilometers will divide out. And so now I'm left with 10,000 times 6.221. 0.621 miles. Well, I know that we're actually going to move the decimal point the same number of zeros. So we need to move the decimal point 4 places to the right. So 1, 2, 3. So that means we have to add a 0. 4. So 6,210 miles. 6,210 miles. And 13. Show 2 methods you can use to convert 60 inches to centimeters. Okay, so we can have 1 inch over 2.54 centimeters, which is the same as 60 inches over how many centimeters? Okay, well, we know it's going to be 1 times 60, so it's going to be 2.54 times 60. So that would be 60 inches. And then what is 60 times 2.54? Okay, I'm multiplying by a multiple of 10. So I know my answer is going to be ending in a 0. 6 times 4 is 24. 30 plus 2 is 32. 12 plus 3 is 15. So I know it's going to be 152.40 centimeters. All right, so that's one way, right? We could also say, let's start with 60 inches. And how many centimeters are in 1 inch? Well, we know that the conversion factor is 2.54 centimeters for every inch. Divide that out. We're left with 60 times 2.54. And we've already figured that out as 152.40 centimeters. All right, so let's go ahead and take a break there. And in our next, when we meet again, I'll go over the independent practice problems on page 197 and 198. So until then, I'll see you soon.